Alright, Internet, I got an answer to this whole unvaccinated kids problem, right? Let's take all of the anti-vaxxers, right? And put them somewhere else. You're probably thinking to yourself, why, Diesel? Well, I'll tell you this. It's because the hardest choices require the strongest wills. Basically, they have their own society, and they're cut off from the rest of us, much like those tribes that are allowed to exist in like the Amazon and on islands, but we're not allowed to go there or interact with them, mainly because our germs would literally obliterate them and destroy their entire culture. But clearly this is a crazy solution, so, let's stop talking about the smelly Europeans who came over and destroyed Native American culture with the smallpox, and talk about anti-vax in a more modern and logical sense. But first, allow me to address the anti-vax community, because I am certain their attention spans are short, and they like simple, to the straight and narrow answers. So, sit down, you're gonna wanna take notes for this, right? You get out your notebook, right? Write down this. Vaccines don't cause autism. Seriously, there's not enough mercury in vaccines to damage your body. It's not gonna make you contract autism. Seriously, if you really wanted to damage your kid, just eat a lot of fish while you're pregnant. There's enough mercury if you eat enough fish. Also, the government isn't using vaccines to mind control you either. Which is, yes, something I've actually read. How you think that is beyond me. But at least the government's not doing it yet. But in reality, vaccines actually make a world of difference for people across the globe. Vaccines improve the lives of the people living in different cultures. Even more so than that, vaccines save people from needless, unwanted death. Think about developing nations in Africa that really actually need these vaccines. Think about developing nations where the healthcare isn't as good and they actually need these vaccines, otherwise they could have a huge pandemic on their hands. Like seriously, what are you going to tell them to do? Use essential oils instead of get a vaccine? What are you going to tell the people who live on the continent of Africa? What? Just deal with the fucking diseases? Yeah, okay, you might be safe in your first world immunity-ridden society of, herd community, like herd immunity, right? But, over there, it's a totally different ballpark, and a vaccine could actually mean a difference between a child living and a child dying. Now, a lot of you would probably notice, hey, well, Diesel, it seems like you're ragging on a lot of American anti-vaxxers, and for some reason, I just happen to see, like, a lot of anti-vax people all live in the US. Why that is, I don't know. And honestly, it does take a lot for me, my red, white, and blue-blooded American FPS Diesel, to actually get annoyed over people who live in America.
I'm not gonna stand here and listen to you badmouth the greatest democracy the world has ever known.
But like, for some reason, being anti-vax is really popular these days. Why is that? Well, I actually have a gamer theory, gamers. Right, my idea is that anti-vax people have always been around, but only thanks to the internet are we ever exposed to the 24-hour news feed of dumb idiots giving pointless fucking opinions. Now, because of that, and that great equalizer of discussion, anti-vaxxers can find other anti-vaxxers, and they use that, surprise, surprise, to end up in insular communities where they all agree with each other until they all think that vaccines are actually tools made by the government to hurt people. But I digress. At least we have heroes that are helping kids get vaccinated, even outside of the memes. The memes are doing a great job to educate people, which is awesome, but we do have heroes like this very real criminal who held medical professionals hostage, right, so that way people could get vaccinated. That is the most ANCAP thing I have heard all week. That's amazing. There is something brilliant about someone holding people hostage so they can get vaccines. It's kind of like that Wreck-It Ralph meme where Zangief goes, "You are bad guy, but that does not mean you are bad guy." But today, anti-vaxxer flower children and essential oil using weirdos, we have a very interesting figure to poke fun of today, because they're both an anti-vaxxer, and people have claimed that they are also an anti-Semite. Things that I love to hear in conjunction with one another. Next thing I know, they're gonna come out saying that they think the earth is flat, because for some reason all of these things just seem to go together. But today we're gonna talk about the actually very high profile person, Kat Von D. For who, if you don't know, internet, who Kat Von D is, much like myself, who had no fucking clue who she was, she is a makeup mogul and a serious serial dickhead. And Kat made a very interesting video, a wonderfully titled video, almost comedically titled, I'm not a Nazi, I'm not anti-vax. The title reads like a, I'm not racist but statement, you know? It's like, you know, that's how that reads. Now, legally speaking, because she has significantly more money than me, we'll just say this is my opinion. You know, it's my opinion backed up by things I've found, but, you know, it's kind of up in the air whether or not Kat is these things. But Jesus Christ, seriously, but the title like that, she deserves to be memed. Like, seriously, take this video and make memes out of it. And then send them to me, at me, also at her. Because God knows she'll block me anyway, so that'll be funny. Anyway, her arguments for what happened here are pretty bad. They're not Kevin Spacey, Amber Heard levels of bad, but like when I say they are approaching that bad, that's pretty bad. You know, the arguments are so flaccid, so awful, that it's like a geriatric patient who's on Viagra that can't even get it up still. But enough skirting around the bush, right? Let's spill that tea, sis.
Hey guys, so as a lot of you know, I've been getting a ton of hate over two different controversial topics, both of which are pretty hard for me to talk about, but I just really want to try my best to clear the air, and so all I ask is that you please bear with me.
Man, as this video starts up, I'd really like to be able to see the comments and ratings to know what people actually think, but they're disabled. So I could just only assume that people all agree with her.
And my family Nazis, those are the ones that really just don't sit well with me. I mean, if anything, they're extremely offensive and just super hurtful, not just to me, but to my family. I know a lot of you guys do know, but I know a lot of you guys don't know that I am myself a proud Latina. I was born in Mexico, in Montemorelos.
Oh, you're Hispanic. Oh, same, honey. This excuses you from everything. Last time I checked, being any race, creed, religion, Pokemon type, whatever, does not grant you free license to be an asshole. Never has that been the case. At least not in my lifetime. Like, real talk, what if I went to my Italian brothers and I made fun of them because, oh, they like spaghetti? That makes no sense. And then what if I used my argument for defense when the Italian people got offended at that? I say, oh, well, you know, Puerto Rican people like to eat mofongo. Like, are you kidding me? That's not a good argument at all. Alright, so let me cut this down and actually get you caught up to speed with the anti-Semitism stuff. Because the argument for this essentially boils down to someone forged my signature on like some anti-Semitic writing. So an ex of Kat's was doing some less than savory anti-Semitic things. You know, making the gesture of a dictator, also wearing the hat from that dictator's regime. It's almost like there's a picture that was leaked. Oh, weird. Also, her current husband has like a anti-Semitic themed tattoo, if you catch my drift. But apparently that's a whole big allegedly on there, because apparently it might mean something else. There was also a lipstick that Kat released that people said was actually named after death camp practices of selecting those to be executed. Take that for what you will. Now, the anti-Semitism stuff definitely seems a little less concrete, at least for Kat. Now, her partners are another story, but we're not covering them today. But, you know, it's a bit different, you know? I didn't see her making that certain salute.
A lot of you guys remember Miami Ink. When that show first started, the viewers the ratings went up super quick, and the network started getting feedback from the audience saying that the show was lacking female energy, so they wanted to cast a female tattoo artist.
So the guy in question basically was feeling threatened because Kat was popular, according to Kat, right? You know, also, this isn't to downplay what the man did, you know, apparently, allegedly, because I don't even know who this is, because she didn't say who, but you know, that isn't to downplay that at all, but let's acknowledge that Kat Von D has an express motive and interest for making us agree with her on this situation. Why would you want to disagree with her? It'll make you look like a bad person, right? So of course you're going to agree with her. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm really not. In fact, I do think it did happen. And the reason for that is, you know, when you work in Hollywood and you work with stars, you get a lot of people with big heads and big opinions. So I could see someone forging, a signature with anti-Semitic messages to try and ruin someone's career. That's completely within the wheelhouse of Hollywood. I am not surprised if that's something that happened. Look, if you want me to be really frank about all this anti-Semitism stuff, because it's not really something I like to talk about. I'm so done with doing like politically charged videos. I don't think Kat is an anti-Semite. And hear me out here, right? I really think she's just super fucking bad at wording things. I think the Kat is just an idiot. Do I think she has poor choice in partners? Yes. But hey, man, who am I to say? But all I'm going to say is, let's acknowledge what they have done and move on from there. I've come here today to talk about vaccines and why they're not bad.
So now I want to talk about the uproar that I accidentally caused back when I talked about vaccines when I was pregnant. I'm going to try my best to make this part as short as possible. I know this video is getting pretty long, so I'm sorry for that. I'm not sure how to start this part of the topic other than just by saying that I am not an anti-vaxxer.
Okay, so essentially what Kat's going through and telling us here is that she's not going to tell us what they're doing with their son. I think it's their son. I'm pretty certain. Right, but they're saying, oh, we're not going to tell you if we're vaccinating our child or not. That's not really your place to know. But what's weird is that Kat told us already what they were doing prior to this event, and is now doubling back and saying, I'm an open book, except when I'm not. But let's read some excerpts from her now deleted post on why vaccines are bad. I'll leave a link to the full post down below, so that way you can read it for yourself. Okay, so I'm going to start a little bit into this. Basically, she's telling the reader that you get a lot of unsolicited advice, uneducated advice from people who are trying to tell you, what's the best way to raise your kid, which is, reasonable. That's something that people do. She says, my own father flipped out on me when I told him we decided to ditch our doctor and go with a midwife instead. If you don't know what it's like to have people around you think you are ridiculous, try being openly vegan. So, why is that in there? I got no problem with vegans. I've met people who eat meat who are angsty fucks. But then you also get vegans who put the fact that they're vegan into posts that have nothing to do with that. This has nothing to do with that at all. Why are you telling us? That's what kind of makes this post seem disingenuous. Like she's just trying to appear more virtuous than the average mother. Right? Because out of nowhere, she's just like, I'm a vegan. Just so everybody knows, this mother right here, me, vegan. What does that have to do with any of this? Right? And then she goes on to say, if you don't know what it's like to have the entire world openly criticize, judge, and throw uninformed opinions and curse you, try being an openly pregnant vegan on Instagram, having a natural drug-free home birth in the water with a midwife and a doula, who has the intention of raising a vegan child without vaccinations. Oh damn, doctor, that was a lot to take in. I think I gotta release some stress there. Hold on. Okay, now that that's out of my system. If you're someone who insults someone for being vegan, you're an idiot. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're someone who's vegan and you constantly virtue signal about it, you are the person we make jokes about. That's just how the cookies crumble, my friend. But there's like this whole emphasis on this, natural that. And usually when I look at people like this, a long time ago I did a video on Tasha Mama. She wasn't going to vaccinate her kids. She wanted to breastfeed them till they're 18, which is weird. But, you get things like that and this whole like new wave, just avoiding anything processed, all that is like an extreme version of like, being one with nature. That's where I think the whole not wanting to vaccinate your kids thing comes from, so excuse me for putting two and two together and saying, well, people who think like this and say these things are also people who believe in this, right? That's just how it works, And it's not like I want to judge people like that, but Kat Von D helps reinforce that, because the only other time I have been exposed to someone who said things like that is Tasha Mama.
All right, guys, so before I go, I just want to read a little something that I wrote last night, if that's okay. This is actually to all of you who sent so much hate my way.
And you know, honey, criticism is not hate, okay? You're on the internet. I'm on the internet. I know what it's like for people to insult you over the dumbest shit. You know, you gotta have thick skin. And the words get to me sometimes too. I get that. But the last thing you want to do is just be like, okay, these are my insecurities. Nobody make fun of them, please. Because that's how people make fun of you. Like, you gotta have thick skin, cat. I don't know what to say. Look, you don't want to vaccinate your kid, fine. I think you're a bit crazy for doing that. But go right ahead. But then why are you sharing it with everyone? Like, you just want to appear better? Because that's what it looks like. Okay, I know you're saying you're not doing that, but why else would you post it on social media? That's why you're posting this, because you want people to go, wow, you're so great. You just come off as disingenuous. You know, I really haven't been exposed to you before this, you know, but after doing research and really getting caught up to speed with what's happening, I can see why people don't like you. Anyway, if you'd like to make your voices heard, stop buying her makeup. Like, that's all I can say. And with that being said, if you'd like to tell me how I'm wrong about vaccinations, you can do so by tweeting me at FPSDiesel over on Twitter, over on Instagram at FPSDiesel, and making sure to subscribe to the channel down below by hitting the button and the bell, because YouTube doesn't know how subscriptions work anymore. Also, have merch. Merch helps me pay the bills, so buy my merch. In the meantime, get out of here. I don't want you here. Nobody wants me here. I don't even want me here. Look at that. There's a window right there, and I'm going there. And I swear to God, I'm going to jump out. I can't really jump out. I'm on the first floor, but you know, whatever. Ow, I just hit my hand.